Here I've got a sweet potato, and here I've got a russet potato. There's obviously differences, especially if you've eaten them, but there are some differences in how you propagate them and how you plant them and make more potatoes. The russet potato has these little markings on it that are called eyes. If you were to stick this potato in the ground, those eyes would eventually grow new sprouts. You probably have seen that happen if you've left a potato in your pantry or in your refrigerator for too long. These new sprouts come out, and eventually they will shoot out more roots. It will get energy and water, nutrition from the soil to the potato, and it'll also shoot out specialized stems that are underground stems called stolons or stolons. And those specialized underground stems will eventually produce more potatoes. But we're going to focus a little more on the sweet potato tonight. The sweet potato doesn't grow that way. If you stick a sweet potato in the ground, it eventually will shoot up sprouts as well. But those sprouts need to be removed from the potato ultimately and planted, and they will grow roots, and they will have specialized roots that grow more potatoes. So it's a little bit different. You've got a stem tuber and a root tuber. Pretty easy to propagate these. You got to stick them in some soil, wait for the sprouts to come up. Those sprouts are called slips, and then you can break those off and root them in water or root them in soil. You plant them straight in the garden. There's many different ways you can handle it from there. I'm going to show you how I do that. I've got a container here with about 1.5 inches of soil in the bottom. 1.5 inches is about the minimum I will go when I'm doing sweet potato slips. Then I'm going to get the sweet potato. Doesn't really matter what orientation. I'm going to nestle it in there a little. I have 3 that I'm going to maybe try to fit in this bucket. Might not work because that one's a big one. Okay, I want them to be buried about halfway up. So since I only had 1.5 inches of soil in there, I'm going to add some more soil, not burying the potato, but just getting it so it's about halfway up on the potato. This is already damp soil, so I am not going to water it, but I'm going to keep it damp to make sure it doesn't dry out. Also, when you're growing sweet potato slips, they really like to be in a warm environment. So I will put these on a heat mat, and actually to start these out, I'm going to put them in my grow tent downstairs. My greenhouse is currently set up to get down to 50 degrees every night, and I want a little bit warmer than that. So inside my grow tent, it's only going to get down to 70 at night. In my experience, after about 3 or 4 weeks, I'll start to see the slips coming up, and at that point I'll let them grow till they're about 4 or 5 inches, and I'll separate them off and get them to root out and plant them in the garden.